Hello, this is Tristan, and today I'm going to talk about a project that I have abandoned, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what it is, what was unique about it, and ultimately why it failed. So the project I started building is called Bag of Assets. It's a tool that lets you find assets for the game you're building, and it's specifically meant to be designed for AI agents. So it's actually an MCP server that you can just ask for specific things that you want to be in your game, and the MCP server would return these assets. How it works, you can connect to any of your agents, and then you ask for it, and then the assets will be downloaded into your project. Should be quick and easy. Here are some of the instructions I included, how to connect your different agents. The mission of this project is there are many artists who have made lots of assets and published them with very permissive licenses. It was very kind of them to do that. And those assets are freely available for use, but oftentimes it's hard to find the ones you want. It's hard to know what's available. You'd have to go to maybe multiple artists and search through their catalogs. And there's not really an AI agent friendly way to do that currently. So I wanted to make it easy to find those assets. Secondly, the second part of the mission is I wanted to be able to compensate those creators. These people made great assets. They released them for the public, for the good of the public, and they don't really have any way of getting paid for that. It's not a requirement, but it would be nice if we could contribute something back to them for their work. And then the assets themselves would be delivered at a very low cost, just with enough to pay for the infrastructure and then giving some money back to the artists. And my plan was to use free assets like the CC0 licensed assets or CC by attribution assets. Some unique things about this website that I built. I wanted it to stand out and look more like a game than a traditional website. All of the things you see here are actually custom built. I built this with Base44, and I asked the AI to create SVGs or animated SVGs for everything. So everything you see on here is not a sprite. There's no sprites involved, even though these look like sprites and they move like sprites. These are all SVGs that are being animated. And I used several different models, but I think it was actually Gemini that was doing the best job at generating these. And I made them very interactive, so you could click on them. It's actually a little story because this mouse is kind of like taunting the cat, thinking that the cat wants to chase it. But the cat itself is actually just a vegetarian and a peaceful cat. So that's a fun little bit. The sheep's just munching on his things. And I like this. If you remember right in Warcraft and StarCraft, when you clicked on the items or the units, and if you clicked on them enough times, you get these unique conversations that they would say. And that was always a really fun part of games. And so I put that into this hero of this website. So one cool thing about Base44 is that they offer this canvas mode. Canvas mode is nice because it'll show you all of your pages in one place. This site only has one page, but we can still drill into it. And I was just going to show you how each one of these assets are actual just drawn as divs on the page. I think that's pretty neat. Let's look at another one. Oh yeah, I think it was these jewels are like really complex. I think it's kind of fun that you can make custom art using these SVGs versus using I think I even replaced all the icons. So any one of these icons that you would be normally using an icon set for, I just had it generate those just so it's a little more custom. So I'm really proud of the way this looks. It's very different than a traditional website. I did like the concept, but the reason it failed is because I built an MCP server and I hosted on Cloudflare, and it worked. If you searched, it would return assets. However, I wasn't really thrilled with the accuracy of it. I put in 80,000 files of images that you could use in your game. That includes lots of animations with lots of frames, and I wasn't happy with the accuracy that the MCP server was returning assets. So that was the main feature of this product. If they couldn't deliver accurate assets when you asked for them, it really wasn't that useful. I even tried a lot of different iterations and ended up getting costly, not in a large amount, but for an experiment like this, I didn't really want to devote a lot of resources to it. This idea, I think it still could work, although I think that with AI generated assets, I don't know how much people are going to want to use the great art that's been created in the past when they could also just create something on their own that was custom and more specific to what they're asking. So I don't really know if this idea is that useful, even if I did get it working, but I wanted to share with you. And if you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear what you thought about this and tell me about a project of yours that failed. See ya.